Hello everybody, welcome to another Brawlers video. Today we're going to be talking about B and the best tips for B. I know it's been a little while since I've uploaded, but with the school has been really busy, and now is a good opportunity for me to upload with Corona break, I'm calling it. So yeah, hopefully you guys can take some tips and put it into use. The number one tip I have with B is to not pick up gems because obviously she's too squishy. Leave that to another teammate with more health to be the gem carrier. And also, your role should be an assassin, kind of like Mortis, except from a really far distance. Because she's really good at catching the gem carrier off guard. With 2 quick attacks, you'll be able to do 4,000 damage. And the slow makes the gem carrier unable to escape, and your teammates can come gang around and kill him. So honestly, B is really meant for that. I would not recommend playing her with Honeycoat just because you're only going to be using it once and you're probably going to be dying more than once in gem grab. I would definitely go with instant B-load. In most 3v3 game modes, I would go with instant B-load. Alright, so next I'd like to talk about B in Bounty. Obviously, like any other long-range brawler, B is a very good option in Bounty. With this is the one exception. Like I said, most game modes I use instant B-load. But in Bounty, it's probably the only 3v3 game mode where I would say Honeycoat is better. Because in Bounty, at high skill levels, 1 kill could be the game. And that is most of the time 1 or 2 kills. And with Honeycoat, you're saving 1 kill, and that can make a massive difference. If you're playing at low skills, I would probably go with instant B-load. Just because at low skill levels, there's tons and tons of kills, and there's really no point of saving 1 death. It's just not worth it. Especially since if you're low skill, you're probably going to be missing a lot of shots, and with instant B-load, you have a second chance. You can miss a shot, and you can still hit your super shot afterwards. With Bounty, I probably would just play her like Piper or any of the long-range brawler. Just use the walls, be smart, use the slow down to target someone with really high stars. And once you slow him down, you can auto-aim. Honestly, you can auto-aim with B. She's probably the lowest skill long-range brawler. And if you have the super shot and you slow her down, it's a guaranteed hit every time. Like, I've never missed an auto-aim if they're being slowed down, unless there's some other teammate where auto-aims to the wrong person. But that almost never happens. So yeah, definitely use B in Bounty. So next we're going to transition into Solo Showdown. B is obviously very good at Solo Showdown because of that Honeycoat star power. It's basically like Extra Life, and we all know how good Extra Life is in Solo Showdown. Well, now it's not as good because you don't get the invincibility, but it's still pretty good. B, with a long range, is able to stay away from enemies, and in Solo Showdown, the biggest goal is just to stay alive, and part of that is just staying away from enemies, and B's good at that. On Cavern Churn, what you're about to see soon with Meteors, she's so underrated, because in Cavern Churn, who's going to play B, right? Like, you just don't imagine it. So people use all these short-range brawlers, Shelly, Rosa, Bull, all of that. And once the meteors clear out the area, it's B against all these short-range brawlers, and it's so easy to take them down. Once you hit them with the slow, you can just auto-aim over and over and chain the supers, and it's just so easy to kill them. Definitely, if it's Cavern Churn, Solo Showdown with meteors, 100% use B. And any other map that's long-range, I would also use B. The one big thing that I see people constantly making mistakes against B is they underrate her ability to kill people at close range. She does a lot of damage, and I've seen so many Bulls and Primos and close range brawlers come to her thinking they can kill her, and then she gets the Honeycoat, and then she does like 6,000 damage before you know it. Don't underestimate her. I'm not saying that if you're using B to go close to people, don't do that. But if you are next to someone, don't lose hope, because I've seen it so many times where B just kills you and you're like, what happened? I thought I'm good at close range. Alright, so next is a pretty interesting game mode for B, Brawl Ball. I wouldn't say she's great at Brawl Ball, but on the right long range maps, she's actually pretty decent, and I push her quite often on Brawl Ball on the right maps. Playing with randoms is not too much of an issue, but obviously I wouldn't recommend it if you have friends online. Because if you end up playing with randoms and having your tankiest brawler being B, then you've got an issue, because in Brawl Ball, health is very important. Probably one of the most important game modes to have a lot of health. Her super is really good in Brawl Ball, being able to slow people down so it takes them longer to get to your goal, and potentially giving your teammates more time to respawn. Her damage is also really high, and in Brawl Ball, if you need really clutch damage, like as you're respawning, you can get 2 quick shots, boom, boom, 4,000 damage, just like that. For what star power I would use in this game mode, definitely instant B-load. Like I said, just there's no point if you're gonna, especially Brawl Ball. You're dying so often in Brawl Ball. Just saving 1 death is really not worth it. In some rare instances, it is, but having that second chance to get a super shot off is way better. Overall in Brawl Ball, you can use B. There's probably some better options, but with the right comp, I actually would suggest playing her. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about B in Heist. She's not great. She definitely isn't terrible. She's pretty good on defense, but the one problem with her is that you can't attack the safe and charge her super shot, and she doesn't do that much damage without her super shot. So you can get a couple chip shots pretty easily with long range, but it just doesn't do enough damage to justify using her. Piper is definitely better. She's not bad on defense, like I said. She has that slow ability, and she does a lot of damage if she can hit an actual enemy brawler. And if that is the case, then she does make a pretty good defender. But in Heist, it's more important to get damage off rather than defending. Although defending is important, you want to have a brawler that can do both, and B just can't do both. So overall, I wouldn't really suggest playing her, but if you did, use instant B-load. Alright, so Siege would be, she's not bad. It's kind of the same sort of story with Heist. She can't really get stuff off the Ike turret, she can't charge up her super shot, but she's not bad at controlling the middle to get those bolts, and honestly, on some of the longer range maps, like Nuts and Bolts, I'd probably use her. I think she's really good. Just don't use her on offense too much. I'd rather stay back while the attack is going on, maybe get a couple of chip shots, and just focus on keeping the bolts. I'd use instant B-load. Again, it's just a good star power. Instant B-load is great, and there's no need to use honeycoat if you're going to be dying more than once, especially in Siege. So overall, to sum up, B is pretty good in this meta, pretty versatile in most game modes, except for really Heist. I wouldn't really recommend her in Heist, but definitely be using honeycoat in the solo showdown and duo showdown game modes, and instant B-load in all the other ones. And just keep in mind that she's actually one of the easiest long-range brawlers to play. If you can get a super, you can auto-aim with her, and that's really unique because most long-range brawlers can't really auto-aim. Like Brock, Piper, like you're not going to auto-aim with those brawlers unless you're at close range. With B, it's a different story. Along with her wider attack, allows for newer players to get used to the shot, hit it easier, and in Epic too. Epics aren't that hard to get. I see a lot of newer players like 1,000, 2,000 trophies with Epics, and I find that really, really great because I like to see long-range brawlers being taught to the newer players, and eventually they'll be able to master brawlers like Piper. So just leave a like, guys, subscribe, help the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. If you guys enjoy these types of tip videos, I would click on the right hand side. They also give you some pretty good Brawl Stars tips and will help improve your game. See you later.